I'm going to do a video on my garden today. First, in this first bed we've got the garlic. It was supposed to be elephant garlic, but we've had a hard year and it hasn't quite filled out. Next in the bed we've got a zucchini. It's growing really well. This is one of my new beds I put in this year. We've got some sweet corn. This is my second lot that I put in. We've got Chantenay carrots here, they're growing on a 6-inch spacing. We've got silver beet here, there's 6 of them. The pipes around them here, when I put my seedlings in, I always put the pipe on them to stop slugs and snails and anything till they get up bigger and get growing. This end of the bed we've got more garlic. Over here we've got a pumpkin bed that's been overrun with weeds. You'd think Jeremy would go in there and weed that. We'll have to get on to him. This is my grapevines. This is the best way I found to grow a grapevine. It's growing up a stake to a point where it's de-headed and the things are let hang down. It's really good for pruning and that. Takes you 2 minutes to prune it. You come in here, go to a second eye, cut here, cut there, cut, and you just are left with a central head. This is my compost system. Excuse the mess. It's the main bin here that all the rubbish goes into, and it's flipped to the next bed and flipped to this bed. And we use this on the garden and the seedlings, and it's just beautiful stuff. You grow babies in that. It's just everything out of the garden and the house and the lawn clippings. We've got plum trees here growing on the same principle as grapevines, cut to a main head and then kept small, so when they get the fruit we can net them. In this second bed we've got beans coming up. These are the frames I use for spacing. This is Rio mesh for concrete, and everything's evenly spaced in the squares. Next we've got some cauliflowers. We've got a giant sunflower there. These are my first 2 zucchinis that I put in. They're going really well. These are a new hybrid I'm trying. We've got shallots here. These are multiplier shallots. Like you pull when you harvest them, you just leave 1 or 2 back in the ground, and then they shoot from the base, and you have them all the time. This is one of my Dahlias. It's going really well. Sonia bought me that. Up here we've got some marguerite daisies. We've got another lot of pumpkins growing in tyres. Here we've got yellow climbing beans growing up our old bed frame. Here we've got cucumbers. There's one there. Lots of cucumbers. It's going really well. It's done well. It's another hybrid too. We've got my third lot of corn here. It's growing well. We've got some lettuce, and we've got the next lot of corn growing there. When your corn gets to your knee high, then you put the next lot in. And when it gets to knee high, you put the next lot in, and that way you have corn all the time. You don't have like a glut and then none and then none. When you eat your first lot, your next lot ready, and your next lot. So always remember when it gets up to your knee to put your next lot in. This is rock melons. They're gone mad. We've got giant red onions. You can see the size of that. She's a monster. Keeping them for seed, but as usual when you want them to go to seed they won't. We've got giant sunflowers. We get back a bit. That one there is measuring 9 foot at the moment. It's going really well. Ellie bought me those seeds. It's going to be a beauty. I'll keep the seeds off it. Got me tomatoes. They're growing up a stake. And this one here, to stop the fruit fly and that, I use dome mosquito nets. Just throw the mosquito net over them keeps all the bugs and that off. You just put, like I've used a plastic bottle over the top of the stake. This is my first tomato I put in. Like with all the cold weather and that we had, we're nearly like 2.5 months behind where we should be. Like we'd had tomatoes and everything by now, but it's just so cold to start with. We're 2 months behind where we should be, so we'll probably only get one lot this year. There's some more cucumbers off that lot I showed you before. We've got in the next bed, we've got some potatoes. I couldn't get any seed potatoes, so I went round the beds and rounded up all the ones that come up in the compost. So they'll either be good or not. They look alright so far. This is a new bush bean I'm trying. It's called Provider. It's a lot more vigorous than anything I've grown before, but it is going really well. Remains of the carrot seeds. I've got more cucumbers there. Another Dahlia. This is a red one. It's really nice. There's the dog wants to get in the picture. Say hi, Muffin. Say hi, people. This is a row of carrots. I use a finger carrot and just run down the road. Don't fin them or anything. And just as you pull them out, the next lot fill out. This is my first cucumber I put in. She's getting a bit weather beaten now, but it's had some nice cucumbers on it. Parsnips, I'm waiting for them to go to seed. This is a summer broccoli. I bought some more hybrid seeds and they're going really well so far. I don't know how they'll stand up to the heat. This is a thing I'm trying with this purslane for a ground cover, like to keep the moisture in and that. And if it just gets out of hand, like people say, oh, you got weeds and that. Well, I might have weeds, but now I've got compost and fertiliser. It's only a flick of a wrist between the two. We've got leeks, see? We've got lettuce. These lettuce here, they're getting to the point now where I can take the collars off them because they're big enough to stand up on their own. I've got a white Dahlia. Didn't really impress me that much, but it might come good. We've got more pumpkins in tyres. This is called the wilderness area. I use it as catching the rainfall and my manure storage. We better have a look at that. Everybody holds their nose. This is a JLF lawn fertiliser I use. She's 10 plus on the stinky scale. This is a nettle tea that I'm using. Like I alternate the two. This is a potash fertiliser for the tomatoes and things, made out of the things out of the burning drum. This is another stinky fertiliser. Ooh, she's right. This is made out of all the old plums and that off the plum tree. And she just rots down, and like in about 3 months we'll start using that. What have we got? Last bed here, we've got the Dahlia. It's a really beautiful one, goes well, like a house on fire. This was my first lot of corn. We didn't get to use it all, but it did really well. Like she's getting a bit flowery now, but like that's what she's like. We got some more of them wild potatoes. We got some cabbages. Trying this new idea, whether it'll work or not. Put the 4 of them in, and the idea is that this one will push that way, that one will push this way, and we'll just water and fertilise in here. It'll work or it won't. This is another zucchini. Going like house on fire. This is some silver beet that I put in the wrong place. Silly Jeremy. This is my Seedling Station where I grow all my babies to start with. Which is a bit of a mess at the moment, but We go over and give this to Millie the chook. Here's Millie. Here you go, Mill. Here's some corn for you, mate. There she is, that's Millie the chook. Down here we've got some strawberries in tubs. There's Phil in the heat and getting a bit beat about. This is all me undercover area. I got all me geraniums and things in pots and my hanging baskets. And I think that's about all. That's the garden there. She's going really well at the moment. So anyway, that was the tour, people. Thank you.